Hey everybody, welcome back to Lower Keys Living, and going to get you right into what we had promised. This week we're going to take you out to some of our favorite lobstering spots on the Atlantic side, and these spots will be our snorkeling depth lobster spots, not the dive spots. So we're going to do an episode on snorkeling spots, then we'll do another one on where we go when we're diving for lobsters, and we're going to do the same thing in a couple of other episodes for the Gulf side. Where are our favorite places to snorkel for lobster on the Gulf side, and where do we go when we dive? We get visitors all the time that aren't scuba certified, so we like taking them out. So we go to snorkeling depth spots, and by snorkeling depth we're looking at places anywhere from 3 feet to 10 to 12 feet deep. Is great easy access snorkeling depth for us. But I want to do a quick update. Both boats are back in the water, the center console and the flats boat are in, and last week I told everybody how I managed to snap our dive ladder off the boat trying to rescue a drone. This is the piece that broke. That slides on the slot on the back of the boat. Managed to bend it, and we had to rock that backboard to snap that off to get the ladder out of the water. What I ended up doing is hacksawing this piece off what was left of the ladder, and used a couple of 7/16 bolts through and put those through the remaining part of the ladder, created a slot with the bolts that are locked in. We used this today trying to get underwater footage for today's video, and worked great. So a ladder that cost nearly $500 cost me about $36 in stainless steel nuts, bolts, washers, and parts. So nice savings on that. Functioning great so far. I'll let you know how it holds up, but nice hack to save a few $100s on the ladder. The other thing I learned is, I told you last week I managed to snap off our power pole on the flats boat. That was what was left up in the actual power pole portion. I have to hammer that out, and this is the piece of the pole that snapped off. We did end up finding it. That's where it broke. So I called Power Pole to order a replacement piece, and found out these are warranted for life. So I have a brand new replacement pole coming free of charge from Power Pole. I've had to get some other parts for my power pole unit before, hydraulic pump and some switches. They have the best customer service, so props to Power Pole. Thanks for replacing that. Not just me, but apparently these are warranted for life for everybody that has a power pole unit. So good job on Power Pole. Other thing I'd like to tell people about is these top spot maps are phenomenal. I'm going to refer to this over the next couple of weeks and show some places on this map for this. So what we're using is the Middle Keys area. So if you're coming down to the Lower Keys for lobstering, grab one of these if you can. They're waterproof. They're great to have on the boat. I make notes on mine about places I've been. So it's just great, handy. I'm an old school guy. I've got multiple GPS units and navionics units on the boat, but I still love having these maps. So that's it. Let's jump in. We're going to take you out on the boat, show you one of our favorite snorkeling spots for lobsters, and then I'm going to go through the other locations on Google Maps and on this map to show you those. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this week's episode. All right, so we jumped in the boat, and my plan was to head over to the Big Pine Key area. There's some great lobster locations out there on ledges, but you see water was really rough, lots of white caps. We had good solid 2-foot seas running here, and this is inside the channel. And the water was looking really cloudy and close, so I decided to head 6 miles out to Pelican Shoals, and this is actually about a 12-mile boat ride from the end of our channel. You can see my wife's grabbing the mooring buoy, but we got out here, and even this, the water was cloudy. We're at about 15 feet of water, and it's normally crystal clear. You can see what's on the bottom. Not happening today, so I jumped in, realized this is not going to be stuff I can record and get good footage for you to show you the habitat and actually show you some lobsters out here. So we decided to bail on this concept. So instead of showing you footage and narrating through that, we are pulling the line off the mooring buoy. I'm going to do a quick loop around Pelican Shoals here and show you that, but we're going to go through some graphic images of each location, give you the pros and cons of that, and weather's looking great for next week. So I'm going to try and run out, get some footage from each of these locations I'm about to show you so you can actually see what it look like and prep you for going into those spots. You can see we're coming up on one of the 3 mooring buoys that's out here at Pelican Shoals, and you can see the waves breaking on the shoals off to the right. Beautiful area. I'll get into some details here later on. But again, change in plans, got to go with the flow. So, and again, this is over, Sam. This is normally turquoise, clear, blue water in here, and it is just super murky. So, could not get in the water to get you footage today. So, we're going to go a different route and share with you our best lobstering spots. So, stay tuned. 7 great lobstering locations coming up. Right, I'm going to jump right in here with our favorite lobstering spots. These are places that I lobster frequently. Love these places. And at the very end, I'm going to throw in a 7th spot that's one of my secret locations. Not everybody is going to be able to access it, but definitely worth the wait. So I'm going to jump right in here. We're going to work away from the eastern end of the Lower Keys here, just off of Bahia Honda State Park, and work our way west just off of Big Coppet and the Naval Air Station down here at Middle Sambo. So let's just jump right in and I will show you the pros and cons of each of these locations. First up, this is West Bahia Honda Key. Some people just call it the Rock. It's this little formation off of Bahia Honda State Park. It's about half a mile offshore from Bahia Honda. So you can access it from shore, paddleboard, or kayaking, but just a great spot. There's 3 things that make this just an epic lobstering location. Number 1 is the channel here between keys. This is one of the deepest channels, if not the deepest channel here in the lower Florida Keys and all the Keys. Lots of strong current, which means lots of fresh lobster moving in and out with the currents on a daily basis. 2, you can see right here, great lobster hiding habitat in all of this coral formations. Loads of hiding places, lots of ledges, lots of crannies. Just lobsters love these hiding places. And then number 3, these massive grass flats off of Bahia Honda State Park. This is where lobster feed. They come up and feed in the grass at night. So you've got all 3 combinations. The one downside of this location is it's exposed to a lot of wind and current. So you're gonna have to find a day with very little wind to make this a comfortable spot and easy spot to access, but definitely put this at the top of your list of places to check out when you can. Next up is this stretch from Little Palm Island down here on the west end all the way up to the end of Big Pine Key down here. And I love this area because there's a couple of types of lobster habitat to work, so a little variety in what you're doing. This stretch in here is full of the old limestone. So again, coral turns into limestone as it ages and dies, and over time it caves in on itself, creating all these ledges. So this whole stretch in here has lots of those nice lobster ledges holding lobsters. Again, lobsters are here in the deep water. They'll come up to feed on these grassy flats, and they end up hiding during the daytime in all of these ledges down in here. So great spot here. And then at the other end, at the west end of this area, you've got all these mini patch reefs in really close to shore, easy to access, and there's coral heads here all over the place. So a great place to explore. Coming out here, take your time, look around, but a phenomenal spot. Again, the one downside of this is a super popular spot. It gets really busy during the 2 days of mini season or sports season, depending on what you call it, but definitely worth checking out. Rest of the year, it's relatively slow out here. You can come out here on any given day and be the only person in this whole stretch. For those that don't know, Little Palm Island is a private resort, high-end resort, super expensive, thousands of dollars a night to stay here. But if you wanted to come out for dinner, if you got someone special, you can take the shuttle boat out from Little Torch Key. Just expect to pay around $100 a person for dinner out here, but really cool little spot. Right now we are traveling a little further west, just southwest of Sugarloaf Key, about 3.5 miles offshore, are West Washerwoman Shoals. And this strip, you can see it is over a mile long, and nice shallow water, but great habitat area, lots of current out here. Again, lots of grass flats up in this area for feeding. but lots of hiding area for lobsters out in here. And it's not just this strip, you've got all these little patch reefs. You can see them just everywhere out here. So a great area to check out. A lot of my friends come out here. Also a great area for spearfishing if you're looking for hogfish, for mutton. This is a place we frequent. So just a beautiful spot. And pretty much on a given day, you're going to be the only ones out here. I've even come out here on a day out during mini season and not seen any boats out here in the morning. So a great spot. This is, if not number one, definitely in my top 3 places that I like to come to. Just come out here and enjoy this area and explore it, and you'll have a lot of fun out here. Straight south is Maryland Shoal, and again, this has everything you want in a lobstering location. Great little spot, a good sandy area up in here where it's easy to anchor. It's pretty well protected from your offshore winds coming on by the reef. So this whole area in here is pretty well protected. If the wind's coming from the other way, just head to the other side of the reef. So great place to go. The biggest downfall for this area is it drops off to some deep water, comes up quickly, makes for some great game fish habitat. This is a really popular spot for fishermen going for yellowtail snapper, and you'll see boats lined up out here, and they are all chumming. And if you've got onshore current coming this way, their chum slick's going to be coming right across the reef. And I love my limbs and digits, so I will not come in here and snorkel and look for lobsters in the middle of a chum slick. There are lots of sharks in this area, and those chum slicks just get them active. Just not worth a risk for me. But if you can come out here, there's no boats, nobody out here fishing. It is a great spot to come out and look for lobsters, and a really pretty area for snorkeling. Just a little bit west of here is Pelican Shaw. This is one of our favorite places to come to, whether we're lobstering, fishing, or just want to come in and snorkel. Love this spot. It's the former nesting area for roseate terns. They're an endangered species down here. And this used to be a much bigger, much more substantial island, but it was decimated during the 2004-2005 hurricane season. So the birds no longer nest here. It's still listed as a protected area. So there's a 50-meter zone where you're not supposed to approach the land here by 50 meters. Don't know, it's still listed as being as enforced and in place, but there's no longer nesting here. But just stay off the island and stay out, but your 50-meter zone would be pretty well in here. But the area there, the maps will show there's 4 mooring buoys, but there's only actually 3. There's one out here in this sandy area, one right here where you can see this boat is moored to, and then there's another one right in here. So there are mooring buoys in here, great area. Otherwise, got good holding sand to anchor in out and in here. Just on this side, the best lobstering is going to be out here in this area. And for diving, you can go a little deeper. Just coming out here, it drops off pretty quick, but great habitat. The very first time we came out here, we were coming out here to lobster, we were coming out here to snorkel. We used this mooring buoy, and I got in and I was stunned. Just lobsters everywhere just under these rock formations right here. So again, this is one of our favorite places to come out here and visit. Just west of here is Middle Sambo, and you can see why people, if you look at it closely, they're like, oh, is that Lou Key? Looks a lot like Lou Key, same kind of shape, but it is not. This is Middle Sambo. There aren't mooring buoys here, but you can anchor out here. If you're on this side, definitely want to use a grappling hook style anchor. Your Danforth are going to get stuck and hung up. Or you got some good sandy area on this side to anchor. But again, you've got your hiding habitat, all your crevices that lobster like to hide in here during the day on this patch reef. And you've got your grass areas that the lobsters love to feed in. So a great mix. This is also as good as, if not better, area for snorkeling and exploring than Lou Key, just because this is far enough away from Key West that the guide boats coming out of Key West are going to go to the locations close to Key West, and this is a long ways away from the snorkeling and dive centers located on Summerlin Key and Big Pine Key, they do not come this far west. So a great location. You're going to have this to yourselves most of the times. Just be aware, looks really similar when you're going over it, but Eastern Sambo, this is a protected area. So this is a no-go for your catching lobsters and fishing in here. So stay off of there, but Middle Sambo, definitely check this out. You're gonna love that area. And finally, this is my secret spot. Debated about whether or not to share this, but there's limited access here. Not everybody's gonna be able to get in here. But this channel in between Sugarloaf Bay and Cudjoe Bay on this side, this channel is marked. They've got channel markers in here. A lot of the folks that live on Sugarloaf Bay will use this to take their bigger boats out. They'll come through, and this gives you direct access right onto the Cudjoe Channel to get out to the Atlantic Ocean, straight out to American Shoals. But in here, just down from the burned out bridge, the KOA campground is right up here. And this road used to connect you all the way through down to where the jumping bridge is. But this entrance right here doesn't look like it goes anywhere when you're looking down here, but you can come in here with a flats boat or a skiff and you can come all the way through. You can actually exit out this side, especially at higher tides coming on out here. So you can make it a one-way trip. But what makes this and why this makes my lobster list are these imploded limestone formations. About 3/4 of the way down this channel, you'll see all of these ledges. And we were out here a few weeks ago on the flats boat coming through, and not lobster season, so definitely can't take anything, but just all the lobsters ringing all the edges of these imploded limestone areas. It's also a great little fishing spot for mangrove snappers, some other species in here. And it's just a beautiful spot, a really cool place to come through if you have the means to get in here. You can access it, be a long paddle from pretty much anywhere by stand-up paddleboard or kayak, but it is worth the trip in here. If you've got a flats boat or skiff, definitely check this out. It's a cool location. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope this information helps you get started on your lobster season. If you have any questions, please just leave them in the comments below. I will try and get back to you. Planning on doing a snorkel version on the Gulf side for next week, and then we'll get into our dive locations after that for diving for lobster. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more information about the living in the lower keys. Thanks again.